good time. I know it's good, 'cause I got what's
Good morning, everyone.
in mind.
It's my great privilege to be the MC for this one-off, important, historical event celebrating 40 years of self-determination, 40 years of the Central Australian Aboriginal Congress, and 20 years of the Aboriginal Medical Services Alliance of the Northern Territory.
Congress is really one of the best examples in the world of a comprehensive primary healthcare service, and we would not have been able to get to where we are today without the support and advocacy of AMSANT.
But these summits, we had the first one at El Perla, outside of here at Alice Springs. We had the second one at Barnack Jail, and that's where we made this banner. All the different groups that were there all kind of did a drawing of the banner, and we had a Singer sewing machine. There's a great photo somewhere, and it was transferred into satin, and that's how we come to have the banner. Donna's talked about it, and so has Marion, and I'm going to add my voice to it. I seriously think that we need to consider another kind of campaign. So I would like to add my voice to some kind of advocacy, some kind of campaign to put ourselves back on the agenda. I think we've become a little bit too complacent, and we're just kind of lying down here.
Our Aboriginal Medical Services staff, how much more they do and how much more they, well, I shouldn't say care, because I'm sure everyone cares about their patients, but our people taking care of our own people really help them to navigate the service a lot better, and they really nurture them as patients and as clients.
In 1981, the Pintubi people moved back to their country. Now, when that exodus happened out of Papunya and Haas Bluff for the Pintubi mob going back to their country, they didn't see it as going back into a desert. They were going back to their country. They were going back to a garden, an untended garden, but they were going to start tending it again. And they're still out there, they're still tending the garden, and they're still very proud of having their own health service.
Because I went to Canberra, I took to give us new clinic. Because a lot of spider running around, mass, cockroach, leaking in the water on the clinic, a lot of trucks. That's why I went to Canberra. Can you help us? They give us $1 million for that clinic. I went to tell them true story in the Canberra. And I'm worked for Western District Dialysis. I'm a chairman. I work for Mount area, helping for my people. I'm still here. Yeah, thank you for my story.
I actually like the name AMSANT. When I heard the name AMSANT, I thought, well, you know what? It's a very clever name because Sant is short for Santa. There you go, bam, Santa's coming. And AM must be short for Amway. Get all your shopping, get that DVD, step up, learn all the moves for it.
And the showers change the luster of our land. And it's raining on the road in a beautiful country. And I'm proud to travel.
The importance of the word trauma to Aboriginal health and in other areas of health has only recently been recognised. At AMSANT, we're currently doing some work to support a better understanding of exactly how trauma wounds people biologically, emotionally, socially, and how this then leads to a variety of mental and physical health issues. This work involves supporting trauma-informed perspectives and ways of working for all staff throughout health services.
At AMSANT, we believe that it is critical that trauma-informed understandings are promoted amongst all services working with our people, as our people may have suffered a greater burden of complex intergenerational trauma.
This is a painting put forward by Andrew Japaljari Spencer, police aide at Kintor, I said to him, well, these old men have told me I have to look at this, and he said, oh, well, this is easy, Alex. We've known about this forever. If you look at this painting, what he tried to do, and it's not a sort of a traditional painting, it was really a painting to try and explain something to me because I was pretty young and silly and new to town. And he said, really, stress and worry is what drives depression as experienced in Aboriginal communities. And if you do get depression, you're much more likely to have a heart attack. And the reason is, you're not as likely to take your medicines. Your heart becomes out of balance. Your sugars are out of control. You're less likely to lead a healthy life. And this doesn't tell us that depression and distress leads to heart disease, but they're important bedfellows. And if we don't have chronic disease systems that include social emotional well-being in them, we've missed the boat.
We have a saying at Miwati Health, and that saying is that our day job is delivering primary healthcare services to your people. But our business, this is what we're about. It's about empowering and delivering freedom and equality to your people of East Arnhem Land.
Miwati Health, we have a unique system of sustainability in the organisation that provides training and ongoing job security for the community and also for the Miwati region.
And this photo is actually Mavis, who's from Yuntamu. She talks about having spent lots of years out bush with the grandkids, getting sick and having to move into town and to be close to that machine. And this photo has actually just been to the UN to an exhibition about Indigenous people with disabilities, and it's been to New York too.
And my approach to health is about through fitness and physical activity. So I take the approach with the young people that I work with is that you've actually got one job, your life's work, which is right here. This is your priority, to take care of yourself. So that can be through fitness, through eating well, through sleeping well, for having good relationships. So I think if we can focus on making our health, our life's work for the rest of our lives, I think that'll give us some good values-driven decision making and really make some difference to our health. So please, thanks very much.
And if non-Aboriginal people are able to work within a system where they are accountable to Aboriginal leadership, then they are going to be able to work in a much more appropriate way.
Up to 80% of heart attacks and strokes could be prevented if we get this right. That's in the mainstream health system. And in the AusHeart study, this is Australian data, there are substantial undertreatment of patients who are at high risk of a cardiovascular event. So of the 1,548 patients looked at, 50% were not being prescribed, and I've underlined prescribed, because it's all very well to talk about lack of compliance, but all the literature tells us that lack of compliance accounts for about 30% of this problem. It's actually practitioners failing to prescribe the appropriate medicines, which accounts for about 50% of the problem. I sometimes get accused of being overexcited about data, so I don't know whether you'll think it's as exciting as I do. But really, we need to acknowledge that we are really leading this, as Scrim just said, our sector for years has led the Australian health system, and we're leading the Australian health system in quality improvement, in performance reporting. And although there are risks to some of these things, as Scrim just said, there are great benefits in looking at quality improvement and being able to assess and measure the effectiveness of what we're doing. And, you know, as Eddie has proudly quoted some of the outcomes, the great outcomes that Miwati is getting, that's what we can do with this data.
For all of you Aboriginal health leaders over the years that have made this organisation the organisation it is now, has just been absolutely tremendous. And from everybody here, I really want to thank you from the deepest heart from everybody. So please join me.
About Pat and what she started 20 years ago. It's very important.
I've had a ball. Everyone's been great. I've had a great insight of what's happening on grassroots level in terms of the health around the territory.
And it was great to just catch up with a lot of faces that I haven't seen in ages. And AMSANT has done a marvellous job.
To have this many people here, 300, 400 people
from all over the territory celebrating such a milestone. It's fantastic.
Hopefully again next year we'll get together and bring Sean Chilbra back.
And obviously, laughter is the best medicine. Yes, that's right. Woo! Goddamn! And also dancing and penicillin and Aspro and hemorrhoid cream and
Our conference, our health, our way.
Our conference, our health,
Our way. Thank you very much. Happy birthday, everyone.
Woo!
So big shout out, happy birthday to AMSANT, and I hope to see you all again next year.
I'd just like to say happy birthday to AMSANT. The cake was beautiful.
Happy birthday, AMSANT.
And also Congress, and look forward to seeing you next year.
Happy birthday, AMSANT. See you next year.
Hopefully I'll be here in another 40 years' time.
Happy birthday, AMSANT. Brilliant conference. See you next year.
Thank you very much. Have a good night, everybody.